Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, and today we gotta talk about the new Sonic game that was just announced at Sony's State of Play. Sonic X Shadow Generations. I can't believe that's the real name. I heard the rumors. I was like, okay, the game might be real, but the name's gotta be short for something, right? No, they're going with this whole shipping name. Yeah, that's cool right there. Classic Sonic's big reveal taken away by Shadow, because yeah, that's actually like when we learned that Classic Sonic was going to be in the original generation. So for those of you who don't know, Generations is a game that we've had since 2011, but now they're remastering it, but they're doing kind of like what Nintendo did with Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, where it's like, yeah, you have like this slight like remastering of the original game, but they're adding new content. So the twist here is they're adding a whole campaign where you play as Shadow. You really could just call it Shadow Generations, because it looks like we are going to be re-exploring familiar stages from Shadow's history. Like you can see Final Chase there, though minus the anti-gravity tubes, though they were pretty annoying in Sonic Adventure 2, and I don't know how well they'd work in the Generations formula. And then you see this Doctor Strange-like transition into, I don't know if it's Westopolis or Radical Highway, but they gotta include Radical Highway. That'd be criminal for them to not include that iconic shot of Shadow just grinding down the Golden Gate Bridge, right? So yeah, whether that's Westopolis or Radical Highway, I'm sure we'll get it. It was even in the 3DS version of Sonic Generations, because that had its own set of levels. I don't think we'll see anything from the 3DS version, except for the coincidence that, yeah, they'll probably include Radical Highway, because that would be just so weird if they didn't do it. Plus, they would have to remake the 3DS levels to make them look good on modern hardware, and they're already putting so much effort into this Shadow thing, I don't think they're doing both. That's fine with me though, this Shadow stuff already looks way cooler than I expected, and Sonic Generations is already one of my favorite Sonic games of all time. And it's just so wild that we're seeing Black Doom and the Bio-Lizard in 2024. I hope that they'll bring back Sean Schimmel, who voiced Black Doom in Shadow the Hedgehog 2005, who, funny enough, is the English voice actor for Goku from Dragon Ball Z. I actually did not know that until today, but I did like his portrayal in Shadow the Hedgehog, so hopefully that would just be great fan service if he returns. I also love that they're not simply slapping Sonic's moveset onto Shadow and calling it a day. They're gonna give him some of his own moves too. For example, when he's fighting the Bio-Lizard, you can see him throw a Chaos Spear, and that's pretty rad because I don't think we get to use Chaos Spear enough in the games. We also do have an interesting description of the game on Steam, and by the way, yeah, it's not just on PlayStation. It is going to be also on Xbox, the Switch, and of course PC. The description says Shadow the Hedgehog is back and teaming up with classic and modern Sonic in Sonic X Shadow Generations, an all-new collection featuring 2 unique experiences. Play as Shadow the Hedgehog in a brand new story campaign featuring never-before-seen powers and abilities. When Shadow's old nemesis Black Doom reemerges and threatens to take over the world, Shadow must journey into his own past, confront painful memories, face familiar foes, and unlock new powers to save the world and prove why he's known as the ultimate life form. I love how they even capitalize that. Sonic X Shadow Generations also includes a complete remaster of the classic hit Sonic Generations. Gosh, I can't believe the anniversary title here is considered a classic hit now. I feel myself fading away as we speak, featuring newly remastered versions of iconic 2D and 3D stages with upgraded visuals and bonus content. So it sounds like even the standard game is gonna get some new stuff, but they don't say exactly what. I guess we'll just learn that at a later time. I imagine it's just gonna be like some more missions or another minigame like the pinball from the original Generations, because I think all the new stages are gonna go to Shadow. I don't think they're adding any new stages for modern and classic Sonic. It would be nice if they incorporated the CG cutscenes that were featured in the trailers for the original release of Generations, but didn't make it into the final game, like the 2 Sonics exploring City Escape. I am pretty intrigued to see how they're going to do the cutscenes for Shadow's story, And with the bit about confronting painful memories, I've already seen people saying, oh, is that confirmation that we're gonna see Maria get shot again? Because that's been a hot topic of discussion regarding Sonic Movie 3, because like, oh, are we gonna see this child get shot on the big screen? I don't know. I mean, Maria is such an integral part to Shadow's backstory and who he becomes, so I'm not counting it out. I wouldn't mind seeing certain moments of Shadow's story being given a little bit more context and clarification. Like with Shadow at the end of Sonic Adventure 2, like, yeah, you see Sonic and Shadow using their super forms to chaos control the Arc, and then it's just boom! Super Shadow's falling. It's like, what? Maybe they could actually have a bit more of like, I don't know how to say it, like a theatrical transition before it shows him falling. And also, it's very strange and just kind of throwaway how they explain him surviving that fall, where it's in the final boss of Shadow 2005. You may or may not hear it, but I believe it is actually Eggman who does say it, where one of his robots just happens to find Shadow, and yeah, they save him. It's just like as if they forgot to write something better, and then they just shoved that in at the last minute. So hopefully both this game and Movie 3 can do better versions of that. So Sonic X Shadow Generations is coming out sometime this fall, so a bit before the movie, which is supposed to release in December. It makes sense that they're doing this, putting focus on Shadow, so going into the movie, more people are fresh on his backstory, because even though Shadow is very popular, he hasn't been that relevant, unfortunately, apart from his little side story in Forces that honestly wasn't that well done to begin with. But yeah, after Sonic 06, he hasn't really had a ton of plot relevance. There is one other bit of Shadow related news, thanks to Tails channel for posting this. So from Sega's press release, they said in support of today's reveal of Sonic X Shadow Generations, on February 15th, Sega will release the Shadow costume for Sonic in Sonic Superstars across all supported platforms. The costume will be free for all Sonic Superstars players and can be equipped when playing in story mode. That's neat. I'm glad we're still getting a bit more content for Superstars. I actually need to get back to my Let's Play of it. I still have a couple of unedited episodes sitting on my computer. As far as what I'm concerned about with Sonic X Shadow Generations, not really a whole lot. I mean, the graphics do look the same as they did with the original Generations release, but that's not a deal breaker to me because the game already looks so good. I think it's aged pretty well, but I'm worried about the whole possible delisting thing, because that happened with Sonic Origins, where on Steam they delisted Sonic 1, 2, 3, and CD, and I think they might have done that on other platforms. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that happened on Steam and people got rightfully angry about it, so I don't want that to repeat itself with Generations, especially with the modding scene. There's so many good mods. I covered a number of them on my channel back in the day. So yeah, I don't know if those mods would be compatible with the Sonic X Shadow version or if they'll be completely broken. Like, imagine if EA suddenly brought back The Sims 3 with The Sims 3 Remastered. That's an entirely separate game, and then they delist the original Sims 3, and so much of the code is different and new with maybe some like new content in The Sims 3 Remastered that it just breaks all the mods. That would be such a messy situation with a lot of controversy, and I'm really hoping that's not what happens with Sonic Generations. But that's pretty much it. Sonic X Shadow Generations is real and still feels like a weird name to say hours later, but I'm sure Sega knew exactly what they were doing when they came up with that name as sort of like, I don't know if bait is the right word, maybe kinda, but basically to get more people's heads turning and be like, huh? To get more people to check out this game that's already been released once before, but with more content. It's definitely something I would have imagined the Sonic Twitter memeing it up with back during what's being called the meta era. I thought we were out of that, but I don't know. Yeah, it probably is just some kind of clever marketing technique. But enough about that. Feel free to let me know your thoughts on Sonic X Shadow Generations in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!